right, guys, welcome back to Two in the Zone. You have the one, the only, the GOAT. Welcome back from Kentucky, Dead Prez. How are you?
What's up, brother? I'm good. How you doing? Excited to be back. Get back on Two in the Zone. So we got two games tonight. Excited to chop it up. Our Mavs and Sixers won last night.
Hell
So
yeah.
no complaints here.
Awesome. Yeah, both teams went down 0-2, and now the series is brand new. You guys have your best player back, Joel Embiid, and then maybe the Mavs figured out something with the Suns. But we'll talk about in a little bit. We want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Seven Stack Sports, the best book on Twitter. They do same-day payouts if you're using cryptocurrency, reduced juice lines, and for baseball, this includes MLB and KBO. You can do -1 or plus lines. Not many books offer that. They also just added like this props builder a couple of months ago that you can do props and parlays and amazing stuff like that. So definitely check them out right there on the screen on Twitter, 7 Stacks Sports. All right, Dad, let's get into the weekend real quick. Let's talk about how Kentucky was for you.
Yeah, it was a great time. Didn't lose money, which was good. So had a little split on the Derby bets. But yeah, I mean it was cool. Kind of got to witness some history there with second biggest long shot ever winning. This was a great time. Yeah, so I had a lot of fun down there doing some work and meeting some people. So now excited though. My Sixers got the wins that were appropriate. When I went in there, it was hard to find the game there, right? Because they played the night that there was the other races. So they had like the Churchill Downs. So every bar there had the horses on, but we were able to find it on one TV, and they were able to come through last night. So yeah, lots to get into with these games. So the Mavs obviously yesterday, really, I thought their win was more impressive than Philly's win because kind of how it was done. The Chris Paul story is kind of crazy there, right? He fouls out. I mean, he had 4 in the first half, and his fouls just didn't seem smart. I know there was a lot of debate: did he foul? Didn't he foul? And I understand, some of them were a little controversial, but I mean, it's a 3-game series now, I see, and the Mavs look like they have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, just on that Chris Paul topic, it doesn't matter if it's a foul or not, right? It end up being a foul. Like you shouldn't even be in those situations, especially that fourth foul at the end of the first half. We all know Luka flops. I mean, Chris Paul flops too, and you just shouldn't be in that situation. You're the best closer on the team. You're the best closer, arguably, in the NBA. You had more fouls than points yesterday, which is crazy. But yeah, the biggest change there, I think, is defensively, right? I think in Phoenix, Dallas gave up like 130 points, especially in that second game. Coming back to Dallas, they started playing a lot better defense, including Luka. So it's more of a team effort on defense, and they hit 23s yesterday. It's hard to lose when your team makes 23s. So that's the Mavericks. But I want to talk about your team, man. I know you're impressed with the Mavs. I'm impressed with the Sixers,
Okay.
especially James Harden, man. James Harden showed out, both games, but especially late in Game 4 last night. Yeah, Game 4 last night. What do you think about your team moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super impressed with Harden as well. Obviously, I've stuck to my loyalty with Harden and support with him through it, but it's been a struggle to score. Not that I think he's struggling shooting or anything. It's just been the aggression, right? Like he was very aggressive last night. He looked like he wanted to take the big shots. I mean, there's been times, especially in the playoffs, second half, he just kind of has had,
Yeah.
the disappearance type of thing. So, I mean, yeah, really impressed with that. And at this point in the series now, it's a 3-game series, right? And Embiid's back. I just don't it's not the bias, but I just don't know if Miami can compete when Embiid's on the floor from a perspective of guarding him. Like there's too many mismatches across the board. I mean, they had Kyle Lowry on Tobias Harris. I think it's Philly series to lose at this point, despite Miami having the home advantage. I kind of think the line's indicative of that. Like Philly's only like plus 120 now to win the series, so I think it's a little backwards in that regard. Where I think they can actually get it done and come back and win this series.
Yeah, you know how much I love Joel Embiid. I think he's the most skilled big man in the league. I know Jokic is going to be the MVP this year, and I think that's deserving, to be honest. But Embiid
Yeah.
is the best player. And honestly, the biggest difference, in my opinion, when Embiid is on the floor is it makes it so much easier for guys like Maxey, Harden, Tobias Harris, Niang. All those guys have a lot more room. You were seeing Miami kind of preemptively double team him in the fourth quarter last night, not letting him catch the ball. But that gave room for Maxey and Harden to do work. So it's going to be a completely different series moving forward. Miami dominated the first 2 games, but again, those games didn't have Embiid. And as the series goes on, Embiid is going to get more and more healthy, which means he's going to be more just better in general. I mean, he's at 35 minutes now. He's going to be closer to 40 moving forward. So I like y'all's chances, man. I think it was like plus 500 after the first game, or maybe after game 2. I forgot. I looked at the line.
Way up. Yeah, it was like 600,
Yeah.
700.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, just the value alone, because you're getting Joel Embiid back. So I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome to see. I hope it goes 7 though.
It would be good TV. I mean, both of them we would love to go 7. But let's get into the games tonight real quick. We had a question from Miller Time Locks. He asked what the Mavs would have to do to steal one in Phoenix. What's your thoughts on that? Because the Mavs are your team. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the spear of the head of the spear for the Suns is Chris Paul. So if they can stop Chris Paul, I think they have a legitimate chance, because Luka is still the best player in the series. Every time you have the best player in their series, just like Embiid for the Sixers, you're always going to have a chance, even if your team is not as good. With that being said, what Dallas really did is played physical on Chris Paul and really guarded him 90 feet. So guys like Jalen Brunson, Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith, he's getting a ton of looks defensively, and he has to play all 94 feet. So if they can do that in game 5 or maybe game 7 in Phoenix, I think Dallas has a shot, because we know Luka can close.
All right, it is time to get into tonight's games. Again, guys, this is sponsored by 7 Stack Sports. Give them a follow on Twitter if you guys need these -1 lines for baseball. We're on the Yankees right now, -1. Nobody can hit in that game. Kind of hate the Yankees at the moment, but it's nothing bottom 8. But we did have the Yankees -1. He asked him where we find that. It is at 7 Stack Sports. Hit us up if you guys want to hop on that. But let's get into it. The Celtics-Bucks tonight. Line is kind of staying neutral there at -1 in favor of the Bucks. We know that big second game response from the Celtics. Then the third game. It's been a great series so far. I was at the Derby, admittedly, so I did not watch that game Saturday, but I did have the Bucks, and I looked at my phone, right? The Bucks are up like 13 going to the 4th. When I look at it again, it's when they were down 1 with like 50 seconds. So
yeah,
there was
40 seconds
there. And then, Giannis gets the bucket. A little bit of stuff happens. They get the win. I love the Celtics tonight. I wrote up an article about it earlier in the day. What side are you leaning to?
Yeah, we're in alignment, Dad. I do like the Celtics. I don't know if it's a love play. I don't know if it's going to be one of my max plays, but I do like Boston tonight. I still think they're the better team. Milwaukee played a really good game. They held serve in game 3, but I think Boston's going to win this game and win this series. Again, there's no Chris Middleton. That's not many people are talking about it, but that's their second best shot-making player, right, behind Giannis. Drew Holiday is the best all-around guy, playing both offense and defense, but they need a bucket. They're going to do a Chris Middleton pick and roll. They don't have that luxury now. And I think Jason Tatum had a poor shooting game, I believe, right, in game 3. I think he comes back tonight. Yeah, I think he comes back tonight. Jaylen Brown was awesome in game 2, so I think game 4 will be a Jason Tatum game.
Yeah, second worst of his playoff career. So, I mean, definitely a bounce back spot. I love Tatum's overs tonight. We did this with Brown. Brown had that awful first game. He responded. I mean, superstars, they answer the call. I think Tatum's a top 10 player in the game at the moment, and he was not good in the last game. He's going to have to play lights out. They lose this, it is a very, very, very difficult path for them, to come out of this series. And it'll be a quick flip, right? I mean, you sweep the Nets, and you're the odds-on favorite to win coming out of the East. And then you get the break. Chris Middleton's out. So, I mean, if you're the Celtics, you're feeling good. You just swept the team. A lot of people thought was going to win the championship. And then the team you're playing loses their all-star, their best defender. Well, second best defender. I give Giannis the nod there. But, I mean, obviously it would be a quick spin of things. But I think the Celtics bounce back tonight. They get it done. My favorite prop in that game, guys, is Jason Tatum's over. Also, the first half team total for the Celtics is 51.5. I think they get over that number because I think they come out shooting the ball with confidence. We know how good they can be offensively. Milwaukee took a hit. I know Wesley Matthews has been very good, but he's still not as good as Chris Middleton is defensively. So I like that number. I mean, they don't even have to really shoot the ball that great, right? I mean, you just need 25 and a 27-point quarter. It doesn't seem too difficult to get to. So that's my read on that one. Guys, feel free. Also, we have some comments in the chat asking about the games. Make sure you guys drop them or let us know what side you're on, who you're talent, if you're going Bucks, if you're going Celtics. Obviously, best of luck either way. But me and AC are both feeling Boston tonight. The
Yep.
late night game, AC, which I mean, this is disappointing as a basketball fan. The John Moran incident, which
Maybe it isn't though. They're just as good without Jaw.
well, they're 20 and 5 without
Yeah.
Moran. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they have been real good without him. 10.5 points. Is it too many? What do you think?
I think it is too many, but I'm not going to play that. I'm actually going to play the Grizzlies first half. We all know the Warriors are a really, really good third quarter team. They come out after halftime. Steve Kerr and his adjustments. That's really when like Draymond Green kind of turns it on to in that third quarter. So I like the Grizzlies to keep it close in the first half and potentially even win the first half money line, to be honest. Because yeah, a lot of people are talking about how in the regular season Morant missed 25 games. They were actually 20-5. Obviously, that is just the regular season, right? This is the playoffs. These are the best of the best, and this is the best, arguably, maybe behind the Celtics. But this is one of the better defensive teams as well. So I think what's going to be required here, Desmond Bane just has to go off, and he hasn't had a great series. He's had a slight injury or slight issue with his lower back. We saw him on fire against Minnesota. We need that Desmond Bane in this one. So I kind of like Memphis first half, and then I'm leaning Warriors for the full game, but I'm just not going to play that. Too many points.
Okay, yeah. So we kind of hit that Desmond Bain narrative that I would talk about. I think he takes over tonight. I think he's a huge game. If Moran doesn't get in, I'm saying if because I wouldn't be shocked if Moran plays. And I was listed as doubtful. And at that point, it's serious, right? But my thing is if he doesn't play tonight, the series is kind of over. I mean, you're not coming back on this current Warriors team 3-1. So, he's going to do everything in his power to get back into this game. But, I mean, they were 20-5 without him. So, I'm not counting them out. Right. But this is what I'm saying is that can they keep it at that 10.5? That's a big number come playoffs. I mean, they could get blown out and covered. Like, they could be up 18. Steve Kerr, waves a white flag with 3 minutes, and you have – although their backups are decent, but you know what I mean. You put in these guys who just are cold all night, and the Grizzlies hit a couple threes and cover. Like, it's a big number to cover. And last game, I mean, the Warriors, they pretty much set records last game offensively. I think they shot 61% or 62% for a game. I mean, that's absurd.
It was an embarrassing defensive effort by the Grizzlies. Let's be honest. Like, no team should be shooting above 65% in a playoff game. And that happened. Andrew Wiggins went off for them. Jordan Poole, obviously. But I think, I mean, you and I are in agreement with Desmond Bane, but I think Jaren Jackson, the guy needs to stay out of foul trouble. If he plays 30 minutes, like, he will have amazing stats. If Jaren Jackson, hopefully he understands that tonight without John Morant, stay out of foul trouble and just be on the floor for your team. If he does that and Desmond Bane hits at least 4, 5, 6 threes, I think they do cover.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a really good point that you make there, AC, with the narrative of Jackson, because his just presence on the floor is so pivotal. Yankees picked up a little double there, AC, but then Rizzo gets in a rundown. So it's going to look like I'm going to have a chance at pushing. So he hits a double finally. He tries to go to third. Yeah, we'll take it, in this kind of game. But I'm with you there. Now, we have questions in the chat. Dylan Brooks asking about his props tonight. Do you think we get a bounce back tonight from Dylan? Obviously a lot of attention was on that one incident. It got magnified. We've kind of talked about our opinions on it. But from a game – now, you mentioned the defense. I think that's where they missed him the most, right? I mean, defensively, they are a much better team with him on the floor. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Dylan Brooks, I'm actually not that high on him for props today. I think nothing against him, but he hasn't been that great since his return from injury. He does play really hard on defense. He's going to give guys like Steph Curry and Jordan Poole problems on defense, but he's not a guy that I'm really focused on in terms of props. I'm looking at the Desmond Banes of the world, Jaren Jacksons of the world. Their backup point guard, Tyus Jones, is going to get a lot of time as well. So those are the guys that I'm really looking forward to. And maybe they switch it up, right? Playoffs is all about adjustments. We haven't seen Steven Adams at all, right, since that first round. Maybe we see some Steven Adams tonight, and maybe that's a good look for some props. I don't know. Memphis has to try something different because defensively they've been terrible.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, they have to try and mix something up. in this one. I'm just saying 10.5. It's a lot of points. Also got a comment in the chat about Desmond Bain with his back. That has been an issue. That's attributing to why he's been bad. So really good point there. Unfortunate though, man. I mean, I wanted to see Ja play this whole series. This is a basketball fan. He's been so fun to watch. We had a comment, AC, about some NHL plays. Someone asked for some puck tonight. Do you have any?
I got one. Yeah, I got one. It's going to be the Nashville Predators on the puck line. So that's Nashville Predators plus 1.5 minus 110.
Cool.
The Avs are playing with their backup goalie. And I think Nashville, obviously, they're down 0-3. Super, super desperate. They might end up losing, but I think they keep it close tonight and bring it maybe potentially back to Colorado for Game 5. So give me the Predators plus 1.5 minus 110.
I like it. You know, I just sent to my group chat a little bit ago. Nashville wins tonight, but I'm not betting.
There you go. Yeah.
No, I'll bet it because you said to. But I didn't actually believe. It's just one of the things you say to like look right after it happened. I hope it gets done. All right, my NHL bet. I'm going to go to New York with the Rangers tonight. Been a really good series so far, but I think they bounce back and get this one. You know, I'm waiting for Igor to have a big game. He's kind of struggled a little bit in the playoffs, and
Agreed. They're my favorite team outside of the Stars. In these playoffs, and the Caps have been just scoring way too easy.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is it's 2-1 at this point, and you're coming back on Pittsburgh down, right? 2-1 or 3-1, excuse me. It's going to be tough. It's hockey, though. A lot of weird things happen, but I like the line we're getting on the Rangers tonight. It's just, like I said, it's surprising how many goals, that they've allowed in this series, right? Even last game was, 7? And Game 1. Well, now Game 1, it's hard to fault him. I mean, he had like 200 saves, but this was the best goalie in the league arguably during the season. So I like the Rangers there tonight on the ice. Got a quick question, AC, before we close up too about baseball. This is a great time of year because we get everything. We can talk about every sport. What if you do have one? I mean, I could go first since I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm going to go with which one do I want to give out for the show? Okay. So I'm going to go to LA. I'm going to go with the Angels on the money line with Syndergaard at minus 129. I think
Thor.
They've been rolling. Yeah, I took them preseason to win the division. Oh, man, Chapman's in. Chapman's kind of become that, like, Kenley Jansen where, like, I don't trust him when I'm on a ninth inning. But I took them to win the division preseason. Obviously, the Astros are always going to be tough to compete with, but we knew the A's kind of just mounted in. Mariners I think they're decent, but they're not going to really compete for much. And then your Texas Rangers. So I'm on their team total over on wins. So I'm a part-time Rangers fan, although not today, this season. But yeah, give me the Angels tonight. Do you have any MLB you like?
Yeah, you're not going to like this. I'm going to fade your Phillies tonight. Just from a scheduling travel standpoint, it's terrible for them. They played, I think they played, or their pitching staff pitched a ton of innings this past weekend, and now they're on the road. They have to go to Seattle. Seattle's actually also playing poorly. They're both like 1-6 or 1-7 in the last 6-7 games. But Seattle's coming back home, and I think Flexen at home, we all know on the road he sucks. At home, he's a little better. He's sporting a 3.1 ERA. I think it's a good buy for Seattle tonight. I think they're a solid team. Give me the Mariners. It's a short spread, I think minus 120. So I like the Mariners tonight.
He's a KBO legend, too. Was it former Doosan Bear? He made us a lot of money on those days back then. All right, best bet time, guys. Again, just one more time, we want to shout out 7 Stack Sports. This is who this show is brought to you by. This is why we get to do this 3 times a week. Them a follow, the most trusted sportsbook on Twitter, 24/7 customer service, same-day payouts, cryptocurrency. Also, -1 baseball lines. So if you're in the Yankees like me today and you don't want to take their run line, if Chapman can get these 3 outs, we push instead of lose. It's always a nice feeling, even though it looks like he's going to walk the leadoff guy, which is always not good, AC. But my best bet for tonight, I'm going to stick with the ice. I'm going to go to the Calgary Flames -1, as we said, with you get this at plus money here. I think they win it outright here. This is against your Stars, so I know.
Yeah.
But they've been held down. They have 3 goals in 3 games. They were 6th in the league in scoring during the regular season. I think that they can get some type of offensive breakout tonight. The Stars struggle to score the puck, so if we keep it low scoring on that regard, and if they just have a lead, get a late empty netter. But I like the plus money on -1, so that's going to be my best bet for 2 in the zone today, Flames -1.
All right, best bet for me. So obviously, you guys know we're both on the Celtics. We both love Jason Tatum tonight. I think Jason Tatum is going to have at least 30, which means Jaylen Brown is going to have under 25.5. I like that prop a lot. I was going to play that in game 3, but he ended up with like 28, 29 points. So props to him. He's been playing well ever since that game 1 debacle. But give me Jaylen Brown under tonight because I think it's a Jason Tatum game.
All right. I love it. All right. We will be back, guys, with another episode later on this week. We will tweet out the details, obviously, and always let you know. It's always a little bit of moving parts schedule-wise, so keep an eye out on that. But we will be back this week. Give them a follow as soon as possible. 7 Stack Sports right there on the screen. We will see you guys soon.